Hi guys, it's time for some science now. It's time for some science. And this will be the last video that we kind of play with the light. Next week we're going to start all about sound. Sound. Hey, it's lots of fun actually. It's lots of fun and it's kind of cool to be able to be like, I didn't know that. Because we hear things every day. But we don't usually think about how we hear those things. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to be able to learn how. So today is the last day we're going to be kind of working on that lights and the shadows and things of that nature. Now, last week you did an awesome job on finding materials in your house that do what to light. What did we want to do to the light? We wanted to stop it. Yes, but what's that word I want? What's that vocabulary word? I want it to block it. You got it. I want to block the light from reaching the fancy word, not whiteboard. Give me the fancy word. I wanted to block the light from reaching the surface. You got it. We wanted to block the light from reaching that surface. And when I'm able to block the light, then the part that's being blocked from reaching the surface will create our shadow. And that's why we can make our shadows into different shapes and some really cool shapes, I have to add. There's been some really neat ones. Sometimes they're really hard to be able to tell what they are, aren't they? Sometimes it's like, oh my, what is that? They're kind of cool. They're kind of cool. Today we're going to talk about reflective material. Reflective material. Yes. And for some reason, sometimes we need to be able to reflect light back to you so that it doesn't just hit the surface and stay there. It bounces back to you. We call that being reflective. In fact, I better give you the technical one. Sometimes engineers need to reflect light. When light reflects, it bounces off of a surface. So I will say that again. When light reflects, it bounces off of a surface. And when it bounces off of a surface, it comes right back at you. Okay? So, things that are reflective. Kind of think about some of what it is. What do you suppose, what could bounce light back to you? Have you ever played with anything where you're like, whoa, that bounced right back at me? Some of you are kind of things. Some of you are like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Mrs. Froman. In the morning when you're getting ready for school and mom's got you standing in front of something and she's brushing your hair. Or when you're standing there in the morning and you're brushing your teeth. What are you looking into? A mirror. You got it. And that mirror is basically bouncing the picture of you back to you. Mirrors are the best things to be able to reflect lots of light. They really, really are. And other things, though, that can be anything shiny, basically. Anything shiny can be able to reflect that light back to you. So if you have, I'm even sitting here kind of looking at this guy, and let me see if I can position this again. Watch my whiteboard and see, do you see where it does? If you're looking where I'm looking, right here, watch this spot. Does it move? Yes. This is a very shiny surface. This is a very shiny surface. And it is reflecting right now. It is reflecting that light that it gets from up above there back out. So, when I move this, you can actually see it. When I can depending on the angle that I move my shiny surface, it will reflect it back. You may notice sometimes I do this. You should never do this. Don't ever do this to mom and dad. But sometimes when we're driving in a car and I get bored and the sun will hit my watch. My sun will hit my watch, I can create a little square of light because it reflects off the shiny surface of my watch. And I use it and I just move my watch around and I can move that little square of light all around. And I usually shine it on my husband's face in some way. I usually try to because it is a bright light. And then he starts going, it's bright. So, like I said, don't do that to mom and dad. They might get very upset with you, but it's kind of fun. You can do it to brother and sister. You could totally do it to brother and sister. But yes, if you have a watch or some sort of little, basically glass or flat, shiny surfaces are great things that you can use to reflect the light back out. So, oh, an excellent one, ha ha ha, in music with Mrs. Jennings. What is a day you guys always look forward to? What is a day that you're like, yes, today we get to have a dance party? What does Mrs. Jennings turn on when you are having your dance party in music? That disco ball. Do you have any idea what that disco ball, ooh, it actually has one, what that disco ball is made of? There it is. Yep, we got one just like that. You got it. You got it. It will reflect light all over in little pieces. And a disco ball has little mirrors all around it. They're little mirrors kind of about the size of my watch face probably. And every time the light catches it, it bounces it off somewhere else so that you can see all these little spots of light. So that is other ones that you can see here. Yes, sometimes we have to be safe. So there are parts that they put shiny on these, like for workers, construction workers, or when you're out riding your bike. It's so that if headlights shine on that, it will reflect back and you'll be able to see that person a little bit better. So there are a lot of reasons why we needed to design some things that were reflective. We need to be able to have that light instead of just blocking it from a surface. We want the surface to reflect it back to us. We want it to bounce it back to us, okay? So that's kind of today. I want you to maybe go outside and see if you can have a little fun with that too. See if you can find some reflective material. Little small mirrors work really, really well. Watch faces work pretty well. Sometimes if it's a shiny enough glass cup, sometimes that will. Sometimes it just kind of, you have to hit that one really close. So that one might be a little bit hard. Cell phone screens will do it too sometimes. So you can go outside and play a little bit, find some sun, and see if you can't make your own little disco ball where it reflects the light off of your surface and be able to move it around. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to be able to do that. And you can reflect the light. You can bounce it off your surface, your shiny surface. All right, guys. Assignment's pretty easy today. Today I want you to go to Brain Pop Junior. And if you remember, it's on our Facebook and stuff, I do believe, but I might put it back on there again. Username is Froman with a capital F, F-R-O-M-A-N. Password is Froman1, capital F-R-O-M-A-N, with the number, just the number 1, no spaces. And I want you to search for the video called Light. Then I want you to do both quizzes. Don't start with the hard quiz, huh? Start with that easy quiz. If you get all 5 of those, even if you don't, try that hard quiz and see just how many questions you get right out of those 10. Because there's 5 easy and 5 hard. See how many questions you get right, okay? If you need to watch the video twice, please do so. There's also usually some other fun activities that you can play and do. You might have a little bit of fun with that, okay? Alrighty, guys. Otherwise, next week, we start sound. But today, it was all about reflective material. And that needs to be shiny. To be reflective, it needs to be shiny. And reflecting light means that it bounces off the surface and comes back at you. To be reflective, it's going to bounce off the shiny surface and come back at you. Alrighty, guys. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.